Hi, this is Peter Friedrich, and we are going to talk about the RSS from India. And with me today is Professor Ashok Swain from Sweden. And you're from India, Professor. Can you tell us, you're based in Sweden, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Ashok Swain. I have been born and brought up in India. I moved to Sweden nearly 3 decades back, and I'm a professor at the Department of Peace and Conflict Research at Uppsala University in Sweden. And I do work, I've been working on various issues, particularly migration and religious fundamentalism, nationalism. But at present, I'm looking specifically also what is going on in India. Try to observe the politics in South Asia, the ongoing religious nationalism in India, and its implications for the region and for the world.
Okay, so yeah, we do definitely want to talk about that, about, as you said, the ongoing religious nationalism in India, which I think a lot of people in the West, in Europe, and especially in the United States are not aware of. So as we keep in mind that you focus on issues of peace and conflict, can you tell us what is this group, this organization, the RSS?
RSS, to put it in a perspective, I think for the audience, those who are aware of what is going on in the Asia and Middle East region, it's like Muslim Brotherhood. The organizations which it has a number of similarities with Muslim Brotherhood. They started around the same time, 1920s. They do have a similar type of philosophy, ideas. They try to bring Islam, like the Muslim Brotherhood brings the Islamizations, whereas the RSS wants to Hinduization, replacing the state with that kind of ideology. Extremely male-centric, no place for women. And I think that's where we need to put that in the context, that you will see the RSS is of that nature. RSS also, like Muslim Brotherhood, 2011 was a benchmark year for them. I mean, if you look at it in 2011, after the so-called Arab Spring, then in Egypt, Muslim Brotherhood came to power. So similarly, in India, the RSS really capture of power, which culminated in 2014 in the election of Narendra Modi as the prime minister. It started in 2011 when this Anna movement, which was going on, anti-corruption movement. So I think there is a lot of similarity between that. And if you look at RSS, RSS has been, as I mentioned, it has been in 1920s, was set up by upper caste Brahmins, a group which particularly in the western part of India, they set it up. It has a very controversial history because it was not exactly supporting the freedom movement which was going on in India against the British colonial rule under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. So they have tried to compromise in many occasions. And from the very beginning, they were also, when India, because I think if you look at it, RSS was the first one to demand for a Hindu nation.
So their demand then is for a Hindu nation.
Jinnah, who asked for the Hindu nation before Jinnah demanded for the Muslim nation, and which got culminated into creation of Pakistan. So the RSS brought the idea of Hindu nation in the first place. And I think what has happened when, after the independence, they wanted the India, because Pakistan became a Muslim Islamic country, they wanted India to be a Hindu country completely. So they were not accepting even the constitutions, which was because they wanted a constitution on the basis of Manusmriti, which is the Hindu way of life, the caste system and all these things. They also was not even happy with the India's national flag, India's national song. So it's a very difficult or the controversial past they do have. And I think that kind of ideology culminated into the death of India's, the greatest Indian, Mahatma Gandhi, in 1948. And also 1948, after the death of Mahatma Gandhi, RSS was expecting the country will move into the direction of being a Hindu country. But unfortunately for them, that time the Prime Minister Nehru, who was the successor of Gandhian politics, he registered it, and I think he is the one, that's why they are extremely mad at still, because he is the one who really didn't let them, the country becoming a Hindu country. And I think if we go back to that period, and I think there has been, as you know, RSS has been also banned 3 times. They were banned after the Mahatma Gandhi's assassination in 1948. They were banned at the time of emergency, like many other parties, but that's not. But then they were also banned in 1992 after the demolition of Babri Masjid.
Yes, exactly.
So they have also, it's kind of this kind of controversial and conflicting ideology they do have, and also the past they do have.
So then, if I can interject, so the RSS is absolutely, it's controversial in India. That's true.
Yes.
And the history of the RSS is important. Tracing back to the 1920s, 1930s is important to India today. Is that true?
Yes, because I think we need to really look at it, as I was, why I was mentioning this history, because we need to look at that. Then we can say that whether it's an organization which can be trusted as a regular political, cultural organization or not. They don't call themselves a political organization. They call themselves cultural organizations, though they are extremely political. But even they have, there is a larger possibility that they have not even registered. It's a controversy that the organization is not even registered itself. So there is a controversy on that part.
It's a large unregistered organization. And how large is it?
This is quite, it's not only in India, it's all over the world now. And RSS is known as HSS outside India. And the Indians are the largest.
RSS outside of India.
Hindus, RSS, Rashtriya Swain Savak, whereas because Rashtriya is, if you translate it, Rashtriya is national, so they cannot call themselves RSS in US or UK or in Netherlands or in Sweden. So they call them HSS, Hindu Swain Savak Sangh.
And so HSS is the international wing of the RSS?
Yes.
Okay.
And they are spread all over because I think, and they have been extremely energized, absolutely organized as any organization can be. And they have been the larger force of support for the present regime also in India now.
Okay, so then specifically in India, is there an estimation of how many members the RSS might have?
That's very difficult to say. Sorry, that's very difficult to say because I think because it has spread quite all over. It's spreading much faster than what it used to be in the last 5 years. But what is the exact number? That's very difficult to put a number. But we must realize that there are lots of things which doesn't really make into this kind of, there is an informal network which they come and join. It's not kind of things that which is we need to look at in the most of the Indian organizations of this nature doesn't have actually a membership in a formal membership kind of procedures. But I think that it depends on of course, it's extremely powerful in the northern and the western part of the country. In southern part of the country, in certain patches, they are powerful. In the eastern part, they are getting quite a lot in the Assam, I mean the northeastern part, and in West Bengal. I think it's a somehow.
So northern India, eastern India, and then
northern and western India, they're extremely powerful, powerful and connected to most of the villages.
So then that leads directly into my next question, which is, why does the RSS matter to India? Is it a fringe group? Is it a group that has any real world power?
Oh, it can never be called a fringe group.
Okay.
It's the most powerful political group. Though it's called self a cultural group, now it is running the country for the last 5 years. BJP,
RSS is running the country.
RSS is running the country. BJP is like, is somehow it's a mask of RSS. It's just running for a political wing of RSS. So the RSS is the most powerful cultural in name but political organization in the country. It can never be called a fringe group now because it is the mainstream. Of course, as I was saying, I mean, they have it because it was banned previously. It was considered as a kind of certain kind of fringe group in that kind of term, but I don't think it's any more possible. Particularly, they got certain kind of acceptance or regularization of their normalization of their identity in the 97, 98, particularly when the previous BJP government was in power under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. But Vajpayee had tried to keep political governance not extremely attached to the RSS politics, RSS mindset. So there was a friction between RSS and the then Prime Minister Vajpayee, who was from the BJP. But that has gone completely backdoor after Narendra Modi came to power. So
and if I can interject, so Narendra Modi, if this is true, he is an RSS member.
Yes, he is also.
And the president of the BJP, I believe, Amit Shah, he's an RSS member.
Yes, of course, they are RSS members.
The vice president, I believe it is Venkaiah Naidu.
Yeah, but he's the country's vice president. He is the country's vice president. He's also RSS member. Yes.
And then something like a third to a half of the cabinet members of the central government, they are also RSS.
I think more than half of them will be RSS members.
More than half of them. And then the RSS and the BJP are on record in Indian media repeatedly over several years having summits to discuss policy.
Yes.
And also to discuss campaign agendas.
Yes. It's actually the prime ministers and ministers go to the RSS meetings to give them to apprise them what they have done. So it's a kind of RSS takes tries to see whether they have been going in the way they should. RSS
almost like the BJP reports to the RSS.
Not only BJP as a party reports, it's the government of Modi also reports to RSS.
I see the elected government.
Yes.
Okay. So then that leads into my next question, which is a lot of supporters of the RSS, they react very vociferously, very, very negatively to anything that's said against the RSS, anything that's said about the RSS maybe being linked to violence or anything like that. I've used the term paramilitary for the RSS because that is exactly what it strikes me as. But a lot of these supporters, they come back and they say, well, no, the RSS, it's just a social organization. And one thing that they very commonly bring up is that the RSS helps people in need and people suffering from natural disasters and things like this all the time. Now, there's a two-part question. And first part is that actually true? And second part is, even if it is true, should that change or shift our perspective on the RSS?
It is true that RSS supports quite a number of, at the time of natural disasters or the certain type of emergencies. It's always RSS comes with certain kind of help. But all these organizations, so if the religious organizations, as I was mentioning, Muslim Brotherhood is very good at that. The kind of whom Indians call them terrorists, like Hafiz Saeed or Masood Azhar in Pakistan, they also exactly do the same thing. That when there are floods, they were the first one before the Pakistani government had reached the spot. So this is a kind of common tactics which these religious organizations employ, at the time of emergencies, the time of need, they reach there. And particularly when state has failed, they usually do this. And I think RSS does that, and there is no doubt about that. But that doesn't mean that by doing so, RSS is not a paramilitary organization. RSS is paramilitary organizations. It's not only I or you are going to say this. RSS chief himself has said just few years before that his organization can be prepared to fight the war in 3 days before even army gets prepared.
I remember that the chief of the RSS, Mohan Bhagwat, he said that the RSS can mobilize an army to fight a war faster than the country's government.
The Indian army can do. Then he comes back again, try to refine that argument or try to withdraw that argument somehow because of the political reasons. But I think that's what, I mean, I don't think they are exactly that, but I think whatever is that the perception, they are actually paramilitary organizations. This is a large number of, I mean, not only they do with the sticks, which they do it every day, they do have the Sakha, but
and let me stop you there. So with the it's Lati, I believe. Lati?
Yeah, Lati.
So the Lati, it's a long bamboo stick. It's oftentimes bound with metal rings.
Yes.
Now I think that when people hear that they train with sticks, there's kind of this moment where they say, "Oh, what is that really a big deal?" What is the Lati used for in India and South Asia?
I mean, the lathi can be used all kinds of ways. I mean, lathi can be also, people who use it as a walking stick. Also, some of the people use the lathi as a kind of social status. Lathi can be used also to take, nowadays it's very difficult to hit a cow or something, but before you can actually do that, take them away from your agricultural field. But lathi is used, and also lathi can be, lathi also you can kill people with the lathi. Lathi doesn't kill people. Yes, of course, it's the public lynching and all kinds of things. Lathi comes in, but I don't think we should limit ourselves that saying that because they do only go with lathi, that's the only lathi they do train with. There is lots of training centers going on by the RSS. RSS is a kind of a larger umbrella organization. There is lots of organizations within it, and they are being trained in all kinds of sophisticated arms training all over the country. I mean, there is a number of cases where the bombs have been recovered. There is lots of arms have been recovered. Previously, there are a number of cases. They have been also, arrests have been made that they have been involved in the terror activities. But what is happening now in the last few years, particularly after Modi government came to power, many of these accused, those who have been previously charged or being put in the prison for the committing terror activities, now their cases have been not pursued properly in the court system, and they have all come out now. So I think this is what has happened. They have got an open space, complete freedom from the government and judicial system in this sense. Impunity, not only impunity, but also encouragement as well.
Impunity and
impunity and encouragement to pursue this kind of, I call it, make themselves a terror organization.